You are listening to the audio portion of the QB Power Hour webinar series. The QB Power Hour is a free biweekly webinar series for accounting professionals presented by Michelle Long and Dan DeLong, who are very passionate about the industry, QuickBooks, and apps that integrate with QuickBooks. You can find out all the details about the webinar series at qbpowerhour.com. So without further ado, here's Michelle and Dan. Welcome, everybody, to another QB Power Hour. Today, we're going to be talking about some Intuit updates and some things about our posts. There we go. That's the word I was looking for with our Facebook group. So appreciate you joining us here today. Sorry, I'm a little frazzled. Always a technical issue right before we go live, which is part of the challenge when we have a live webinar. So I appreciate you all joining us here today. My name is Dan DeLong, owner at Dan With and School of Bookkeeping. Worked at Intuit for nearly 18 years, co-hosted today, as well as the Workshop Wednesday, which is oddly on Wednesdays over at schoolofbookkeeping.com. Also the feature deep dive host, guest host at the unofficial QuickBooks Accountant podcast. And Matthew is, again, unfortunately not joining us here today. He's taking care of some personal issues, so I hope he handles those quickly and will join us as soon as possible. But today we have a special guest joining and filling in for us. So Sharrin, or should I say this like Ozzy every time I Sharrin? Appreciate you joining us today and filling in for Matthew. Want to introduce yourself for those that may not know?
I would love to. Thanks for having me here. I have some very large shoes to fill, and I will never even come close to anything that our good friend Spot is. So, Sharrin Fuller, been in the industry for a while. Bought a firm, sold a firm, started another firm, almost sold it again, now I'm transitioning to just advising accounting firm owners because I want them to be able to only work 3 days a week and not be in their business and work on it instead. And now I'm really passionate about that. So excited to still stay in the accounting industry and not, find a different niche to learn at this mature age of my life cycle.
So, you as far as like building and crafting and then selling your firms, was it a particular niche that you were in and then you just got tired of that, or was it more of here's what I learned from that and I'm gonna start over?
Dan, what I've learned in life is I'm a glutton for punishment. And if it doesn't kill me, I want nothing to do with it. No, my first firm was all, it started as bookkeeping. Honestly, anybody that would hire me, bookkeeping, office management, it turned into only VC-backed startups in the software and service industry, where honestly, I learned absolutely everything that I thought I needed to know about M&A and just that whole world. Then when I sold my firm, I ended up in the health and wellness sector, which is where we landed. But then a lot of old clients tracked me down. So a lot of professional services in health and wellness. And let me tell you what, working with engineers and the software as a service and working with health and wellness is night and day, and you cannot work with them at the same time. So I always tell accountants, find your niche, because the mindset of the people that you are working with, you can't work with lawyers and a construction worker. You can't, but it's miserable. And that's a part of what I try to instill in the accounting owners. Yes.
Excellent. So now your main focus is teaching others how to craft their own firm so that their firm or their business is not owning them, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right. Well, few handy housekeeping, a little bit about the QB Power Hour. If you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. It's every other Tuesday at noon Eastern, and we aren't available for live CPA credit as the AI Blake was talking about initially. About 5 to 7 days after the live webinar, they will be on the Earmark channel, and you'll be able to access the CPE credit there. There's all sorts of resources on the QB Power Hour website, qbpowerhour.com/resources, where you can find PDFs of the slides, past recordings, as well as the audio podcast and all of the resources that we tend to share on the handouts. So today, we're going to be talking about really three main topics to kind of catch people up to date on the things that we're seeing in the QuickBooks ecosystem, or as the terminology is being, I don't know what the polite way to say it is. It's QuickBooks on the Intuit platform is a definite term or verbiage that is being communicated. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk about the agentic AI. Who are these not so secret agents in my QuickBooks now? The new bank feed, and we'll recap some of the Intuit technology survey, which was the results were just announced 6 days ago. The 30th of what month are we in? July was that was when that came out, and we'll talk about, if time permits, we'll talk about some Facebook posts. So let's launch our first poll question just to kind of give us an idea of what you do and which version of QuickBooks suits your fancy.
Oh,
Now,
I want to vote.
You can't vote, but I can ask you while people are voting. Is QuickBooks Online or
Only
desktop only?
Only QuickBooks Online. Like I said, it's all about efficiency and repetitiveness is what we need in our industry. So QuickBooks Online, or I will direct you to somebody that will utilize whatever software it is you're wanting to use.
So, did you start in the cloud, or did you start the desktop and then move? Some.
Dan, we talked about my mature age, so I'll let my beautiful skin let me seem younger than what I am. Started QuickBooks. Was it QuickBooks? I think it was QuickBooks way back in the day, 02 anyhow. And then we were on QuickBooks Desktop. And then when I needed a remote in, we had the online cloud servers. You had to pay like $1,000 a month to host your QuickBooks Desktop. And then you had to log into the cloud server and get in there. But back, I think in 14, when I really tried to get into the QuickBooks Online, it was just not a good product. It was not a good product. Man, 12, 13. But it evolved. I think by 15, we were like QuickBooks only, QuickBooks Online only. It evolved quickly.
And it was mostly due to the integrations piece. Is that what you found, that being able to where QuickBooks Online over desktop?
I don't know. There was a lot of integration. I think it was more of cost effective, availability. Like the remote servers were extremely expensive. Then I had the licenses, and then getting everything onto a remote server. And it just honestly, just having it at my fingertips it just became a convenience more than anything. And it was a learning curve. Desktop was far more robust. Now I go back to a desktop and I'm like, I can't remember how to use this. So needless to say, I'm not desktop certified in any way.
Gotcha. And that looks to be, well, most people are, where is my cursor? There it is. I'll close poll and share the results. Looks
31% agree with me.
Got 31% Sharrin. And we've got those that straddle both sides, right? 63%. That tends to be our demographic here, is that a lot of people will work with both. My computer is chugging away at a desktop project behind me. So let's go ahead and continue on here. So let's talk about these AI agents. This is a new term, I think, in the AI world, agentic AI, which is kind of where QuickBooks and you'll see all these SaaS products, software as a service, where they're putting AI in their product in some way, right? So they're spend a lot of money to either to train their own large language model, and they are putting those agents in some form inside of their product. Now, this is one of the reasons that QuickBooks Online is kind of where the direction is heading, not just for the convenience of like what Sharrin was saying about anywhere access and a little bit more cost effective than a $1,000 hosting service or whatever that case may be. But with the amount of data that they can anonymize and basically make the data anonymous and be able to provide some of that information back into their product, this is where things are going to bubble up to the surface. So we talked a little bit a couple months ago about the price increase, and the price increase was positioned primarily as this is what you're getting for that price increase is these Intuit agents. The Intuit Assist product was announced a couple years ago, and this is where it is turning, what it's turning into, right? So ultimately, we have 7 agents in grand total. What's that? Oh, that was the background. We have 7 agents in total, and in Simple Start, you don't get any. So this is one of those things that the version that you have determines the amount of agents that you get. So we'll kind of unpack who these agents are, what they do, or what they're supposed to do. Now we're not going to demonstrate any of this stuff because by the time you experience it, you will likely see something different than what we have. So this is the whole idea of what these agents are designed to do. And it's going to be pretty rapidly into not integrating, but the rapid iterations of as feedback is provided about what these agents are or are not doing, then they will likely change and get updated, right? So Simple Start, you don't get any agents. Essentials, you get 2. There's the accounting agent and the payments agent, and then there's this customer hub. We'll unpack those things in a little bit. In Plus, you get 3 more. So the customer agent, which is kind of an enhancement of the customer hub, and then deeper AI insights. And then advanced, you get 4 more. So you get the finance agent, the projects agents, analytics agent, and the payroll agent. Apparently, for 2 of these, you have to have the QuickBooks service in order to really take advantage of the agent, right? If you're not using QuickBooks Payroll, what good is the payroll agent as well as the payments agent? So let's go ahead and unpack some of those. So in this
Can I make a comment? Am I allowed to comment here? It's crazy to me that Simple Start has 0 agents because I'm pretty sure my Simple Start subscription went up for everybody. So
yeah,
interesting.
Went up $3. So,
in the past month, but anyhow, not why we're here today, but it's just interesting to me.
Well, you basically from the last year, right? There's been some enhancements, to the product. And you do get some AI categorization in the bank feed. We'll talk about that. Yeah. So you do get that, but you don't get an agent out of the deal. And so that's why the price only went up $3 for Simple Start instead of for Essentials. It went up 5, and then Plus went up. Essentials went up 10, and Plus went up 16, and Advanced went up $40 a month.
Did you see if we got, again, sidetracking here, but since we're all accounts, did you see if we got agents on our QBOA files?
You do.
Because we do? Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I should maybe start doing my books a little bit more.
Yeah. Essentially, you get a QuickBooks Online Advanced for your books. So you ideally should have all 7 of those agents in your QBOA books. So in Essentials, you get the accounting agent, and it's kind of a accounting agent core, right? And then we'll talk a lot what happens in Plus. So you get the transaction review, basically ready to post in your bank feeds. Auto post, you can look for the badges, and then you'll be able. The agent can request more information from you to help with the auto suggestions or the categorization automation inside of the bank feed. And then in payment, the payments agent You get personalized payment methods based off of the customer interaction. So it may say, well, this last person only paid you with bank feeds. So maybe you should only specify the bank feed when you send them their invoice. Invoice reminders. It should give you late fee guidance, assuming, of course, you've turned on the late fee setting. But as far as whether or not that is available, and what options that you have for late payments, and then of course using the autofill invoice. If you see that in, where you can take a PDF or an image, put it into QuickBooks and turn it into an invoice.
That's pretty cool. I do like that.
And then there is this customer hub, which is kind of as I was trying to do some research about it, and on the landing page that we have for the QB Power Hour, we have lots of videos that Intuit has created. So you can always go in there, and in the slides themselves, I've embedded some of these Intuit videos as far as what they actually are. But it's going to start to incorporate like some of the features of MailChimp into QuickBooks. And I'm sure if you have both MailChimp and QuickBooks subscriptions, I've never used, I have paid for MailChimp in the past, but I haven't used it in a long while. Do you use MailChimp?
We do use MailChimp, and using it before Intuit purchased them and staying with them. I like them. I think they're great. Good marketing tool.
So what you'll end up seeing, and this is kind of where this whole, QuickBooks on the Intuit platform, and I've seen these advertisements on social media about, the two become one. There's some kind of joining of MailChimp and QuickBooks, and this is really where I think, QuickBooks and the Intuit platform could potentially do a lot of good things for business owners themselves, because being able to communicate and reach out, that's MailChimp's strong suit, and creating those journeys and tracking the marketing efforts and those types of things. That's really where MailChimp excels. And then tracking the customer history of paying the invoices and those types of things, that's where QuickBooks comes in handy. So the combination of those two things, because it's more expensive to get a new customer than it is to nurture an existing customer. And that's where, the customer hub is going to kind of fill in some of those gaps. There's even things there about leads, and it will automatically categorize a lead as a warm or hot, so that you can reach out appropriately. That's awesome. So you connect it basically to your Gmail, and that's actually the next thing. In the customer agent, you can connect it to your Gmail, and it will read your emails for the past 30 days and then prioritize.
Gary, I don't know that I want to live with it, but it is a really cool feature, right? Like, as a lazy person, try not to do as little bit as possible with maximum efficiency. I think it's kind of cool. We don't have privacy anymore, Dan. No privacy.
This is part of, the double-edged sword, or there's the convenience factor of these really cool things. And then there's, oh my goodness, am I just giving away all of my information to somebody else?
The older I get, the more team convenient I get, I think, especially when it comes to business. I don't think that we have much, I don't know. I don't mind. I don't want to be one of those people saying, I'm not hiding anything. But at the same time, when it comes to business, I'm like, convenience, please. Thank you.
Yes.
But stay out of my personal email, sir.
Exactly. Just put it to your work email. But it will create draft emails for you, as well as being able to allow them to schedule meetings as you have connections between those things that are integrated into your email. And of course, in QuickBooks, you'll be able to create estimates and those types of things using the customer agent. And part of the AI of all of this will allow you to change your tone. When you're reaching things out, you'll be able to quickly switch between a friendlier tone versus, hey, where's my money tone?
Yeah. I love that option, the drop down. You can, how do you want this? Drop down, friendly, professional, harsh. I'm like, harsh. Just start off harsh. Get it straight out the gate.
And then as far as the agents that you get in Plus, there's an enhancement on the accounting agent, right? Where you'll get a little bit of the report analysis. You'll see these agents show up. I think the terminology that they're trying to incorporate or socialize is sparkles. I guess there's glitter inside of QuickBooks now because it's got these little AI sparkles, and that's the diamonds that you typically will see as the international symbol of this is AI related. So you'll see those sparkles sprinkling the sparkles all throughout your QuickBooks. And then so you'll see that as far as insights. I thought it was really interesting when I first saw it to look at a profit and loss, and you'll see that sparkle, and you can click on it and it will give you an idea, look at the whole year and say, hey, there was a decline this month over the month prior, and here's why. And it gave you, some indication as to why there was a sharp decline or why there's a sharp increase. So you get that in Plus. And then, something near and dear to all of the accountants and bookkeeping pros on the call, the reconciliation. This is kind of a wait and see what this all boils down to. But I've seen some iterations of automatic reconciliation, whether you can upload the statement or the statement is automatically fetched for you, and how that boils into the reconciliation. So that's what you get with Plus. And then Advanced doesn't even have enough room for a picture because there's the finance.
Advanced, you set it and forget it.
Yeah, the Ron Popeil version of QuickBooks. So we have the finance agent. So you get a little bit more on the insights. There will be forecasting and planning options, variant analysis with the finance agent, actionable recommendations, and then back on your Intuit Assist feed, you'll have some dashboard summary. So all of those things are kind of rolling into the finance agent. Projects. So you have a project management agent now. So the project tracker will help keep you, date conscious and those types of things. So you'll see nudges from within inside of QuickBooks on the project dashboard, task suggestions for you and your team. And then, of course, things that we're all really concerned with regards to projects is the profitability insights. Are you tracking things properly back to the project? And then as far as the payroll, again, you'll need the payroll service in order to get the most out of that, but collecting data, making sure the time cards are entered properly, doing some auto payroll runs, and requesting approvals when they're needed. And then analytics, you're going to get some on-demand reporting and insight a little bit more than what you see with inside of Plus. So those are the agents. And now my machine is flickering, so I can't launch the second poll. Have you seen the agents? And what do you think of the agents? Are you on a wait and see, all fluff, no substance? I've seen some interesting insights. Sharrin, what do you think about that? Have you seen any of these agents, and what are your thoughts?
So yes. So out of all these things you listed, this is going to sound so ridiculous, but my favorite one is knowing when something was posted from an agent or a rule. Because I think the hardest, because as we're transitioning into this, right? We had the rules before and it was hard enough. You're like, QuickBooks, that was not the right rule, right? So now being able to look and go, okay, this was run a report or take a look and see what got posted. I think it's a really good transition into starting to trust the system and understand it. So that was honestly my woohoo moment when it came to seeing all of these things. The rest of them, I'm skeptical, and I think I see and hear a lot of people are, and we all should be. This happened like this, right? We were all warned that it was going to get super AI real quick, and I don't think we all were prepared for how quick it happened. So I feel like in these things, because sometimes it's baby steps, and if that's our baby step, well, that's my baby step at least. But the rest of these, I think they're really cool, but it would take me a little bit to let go and trust. I think the trust I've seen too many Will Smith movies with the robot. So the trust is always going to be a very, very fine line there.
Exactly. And I think Andrew in our Q&A, he asked a pertinent question, and I think it deserves a conversation. It seems that the agents will make the clients feel that they don't need us to help with their books anymore.
I agree.
What are your thoughts about that?
Yeah. I mean, the computer only knows what we tell it. So if somebody is not telling it, it cannot learn. Starbucks for one company may be travel. Starbucks for another company may be, marketing. But we have to teach it. It learns from us. So if you can't just say, okay, here you go. And the clients don't know what they're doing. That's why we all have a job. So I usually just tell my clients, if you want to try that, go ahead for a month. Let's compare reports. But, the good thing about this, though, is it does allow us to program it. And then it allows us to be proactive and advisory. Really just, we're living in more of that. Let me help you. Let me get ahead of it instead of letting you see the data after you spent it. So, and one thing that was just asked real quick that I was really curious about as well. Desktop doesn't have any of this, right? It's only online. Or are they able to roll these things into desktop? Did we?
Yeah,
I didn't see that anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think you'll see these agents show up in desktop at all. And I think
I don't think so either.
That is kind of the concern about desktop is that you really can't get these insights on a desktop, even if it's connected to the internet. Because it's got to it only checks for an internet connection when it needs to, right? When you launch QuickBooks or when you, it's maybe not always on type of thing. So to get that information in a usable way is probably going to be a challenge for the desktop product.
Yeah.
And then what's I going to ask you that popped up here? So there, my tenure there at Intuit, there was always, new updates and things like that. And we were always concerned about, are we going to be out of a job? Because they're making things so easy, whether it comes to installation or, these types of things. That's always the case. There will always be a need for professionals to help in this. It's just the bottom, the low hanging fruit of those things is really what they're. Go ahead.
No, I'm so sorry. My brain goes so fast, Dan. No, I agree. Once we actually use it, know how to use it and trust it. And here's the thing. If you're at a point in your career, you're like, I'm retiring in a few years and my clients wouldn't deal with this. Honestly, what I tell them? Then don't. If your clientele is not into it, it's okay. That's why there's a product like Simple Start. And for us, we had all these different plugins, right? These different applications that we were using to do what QuickBooks building now. Now, because QuickBooks has launched stuff so quickly, like I said, the trust is a little slim. I want to be super, happy about it. And I'm sure it'll all work itself out. But for now, we have a few clients on like Plus and Advanced, and we have a majority of our clients on Simple Start using those plugins. And I think we're kind of comparing the two price-wise and functionality-wise to see, are we now getting from QuickBooks what we got from our simple start with all of our plugins. And when we start seeing that, we have that trust there, like we do in this system, we'll likely move over because it is convenient. It's in one spot, which is also scary if you want to get into that. But, again, convenience and being able to sit back and be proactive and be an advisor. That's where you're going to make your money. You got to be proactive.
Right. Being ahead of the impending wave that is coming is where you're, if you're a surfer, trying to swim out while the wave is coming is probably not the best idea, but you want to be positioned to catch that wave coming to the shore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you sit and paddle and with still water for forever because you're like, some point, and somebody would just mention about the rules. That was really rough. We we used a application that does the auto feed of the bank statement fetching. So we had a lot of our clients out of the feed in QuickBooks, and then they launched all these things. And then I heard the rules went haywire. So I'm like, okay, we got out in time. So now I said, we're watching because we'll come back in. I know we'll come back in.
Right. So that's a great segue into the AI powered bank feed.
Oh, it wasn't even intentional. Total accident.
It's a happy little accident.
There we go. That's what my dad called me my whole life.
Well, that sounds like a therapy session. So the new bank feed, AI is getting its context from prior transactions in history, including attachments. So as you attach things to transactions or take pictures, that's where the AI suggestions are going to get more context inside the bank feed. And it also get it, of course, from the bank details from the download. But if as we saw in I think it was not this last scaling, but the one before where Digits was on the main stage there, they were talking about the bank details especially in an ACH environment. There's only so many characters. I think they only have like 96 characters to put in the bank details. And there's only so much information that's going to be in there. And whether it's the business name or the type of business or the phone number to contact, all of those things are going to be, there's really only so much context that they're going to be able to get from 96 characters, right? But in the bank feed, you're going to be able to edit within the table. There will be, the rules will they're the higher priority than AI, right? So if you've set up explicit rules, those rules will take over before the AI suggestions get in the way. And there's going to be sparkles all over the place. And then we want to talk specifically about the new feedback option that is just for the bank feeds and just for accountants. We'll talk a little bit about that. There's a lot of people out there that have created a lot of things about the new bank feed. Hector has a great video, really just kind of giving the overview. It was 3 months ago. So that has likely, been updated several times since then. But it's a great foundational lesson on the bank feeds. We talked about it on the unofficial QuickBooks podcast, as well as on the Workshop Wednesday. So you can always go in there. There's blog articles, the firm of the future. So anything that you want to learn about the new bank feed is available from this slide. But we really want to talk specifically about the feedback channel that Intuit is making available for just accountants and ProAdvisors for this bank feed, right? So part of the challenge, and Sharrin, you might be able to share your perspective as well, but part of the challenge of sending in feedback is you don't know where that feedback went, if it's new or if it's...
Oh, I know. It's under my desk in the bin. Just kidding.
A circular file.
Yeah. They call it file 13. I thought I saw that in something once.
So the there was a feedback channel that Intuit had called the Voice of the Customer, which was a website that you could go to. You could log in. You could see prior people's feedbacks, prior feedback entries, and rather than reinventing the wheel of providing all of the actionable data for feedback purposes, you could just click an upvote, those types of things. So that's what this is, just for the bank fees, just for accountants, right? So it's called Canny, and you have to create a login. Recommendation is to use the same email address that you use for your QuickBooks, but you'll be able to log in. You'll be able to see what's on the roadmap. Product development is in there. Product management, as well as developers, can provide context about the feedback that's in there. You'll see things that they're working on and the things that they've already implemented. And more importantly, you'll be able to go in there and rather than wasting your time telling the, providing the feedback, if somebody's already done that for you, you can just upvote it so that you can put more voices to the same feedback, which will then allow people to see, how much of a and prioritize the feedback over the other. So, what are your thoughts on that feedback channel?
I mean, honestly, and a lot of other software has been doing this for a while, so I think it's late to the game. Keeper, I was one of the first ones I saw that did it, and then Anchor, and I got really excited, like, ooh, upvote, downvote, upvote. So it is really nice when you get the weekly email of this is what people have sent in, this was what's important, and it kind of lets you know if you're part of the majority or if you're a weirdo with a weird situation. I am typically the weirdo, I'm not going to lie, but it is nice when I see my thing at the bottom and people see it, they start upvoting. I'm like, yay, trendsetter. But I love it. I think visibility and transparency is what we absolutely need, especially supporting each other as accountants, accounting firm owners. I think it's a long time coming for sure.
Yeah. And if you've downloaded the slides, I see people asking, well, how do we sign up for Canny? On my blog article about the AI bank feed, as well as in the slides here, there's a link there to be able to register for Canny there. So I definitely would recommend that people sign in for that, because this is, like I was mentioning, there was a Voice of the Customer site like that almost a decade ago. And then it just turned into this nebulous give feedback. This could potentially, I think this could potentially be, for across the board feedback and being able to see that. So if we don't use this, it's likely going to go away, and we'll be back on the nebulous wall of feedback.
Well, one thing people need to remember is Intuit isn't on these webinars. They don't sit in all these to read our comments. So having the conversations between all of us is great, but if we don't all collectively go in and give them the information and click submit, they don't get it, and it doesn't roll up the chain to put on a roadmap. So Kathy just made a good comment about, I don't want another place to log into, and that made me think of that as well. I haven't done this yet because I tell people to get feedback. I don't do it myself. That's my teaching style. Do as I say. The joke. Do you register? And then it's almost like, okay, it's embedded. You register. I'm in QuickBooks. And as long as I'm logged in, it's there. Or is it like, hey, I'm taking a completely different place? So I didn't check that.
Sign up and register once. The other times that I've gone into the site, it's already had me logged in. It's not like it
cool.
times out or logs you out, but you'll be able to see
within the software right there. So it's almost like they used a different software to embed into theirs, which we know they'll end up building their own while they're using somebody else's. So kind of a temporary placement. All right. I like that. That makes me feel a bit better. How about you, Kathy?
Let Kathy answer.
We'll see what she says.
Right. And while we're waiting with bated breath for Kathy's response, the Intuit Tech Survey was launched last springtime. So we want to kind of uncover the findings. So who responded, right? So it was 700 accountants were sent a survey, and 36% were owners of firms and 64% were employees of firms. But 24% of those that were employees were in a firm with over 100 employees.
Wow.
So pretty large firms, the demographics and cross section of accounting professionals, and pretty evenly split between male and female, which was a little surprising to me because I go to these accounting conferences, I'm the minority. When I see there, I barely see any other guys there.
Hey, 50 years ago, we couldn't even have a bank account. So
there you go.
Husband. So you know what? Too bad, Dan.
Power to you. So this was originally compiled in April of 2025. So the results are just coming out 3 months later. So I'm going to break it down into different sections there. AI and automation, since we're talking about the AI features in QuickBooks Online. 64% planned to invest or upgrade their AI in the next year. That was a slight increase from the year prior, and 95% use automation and 46% use AI every day. Now, didn't go into great detail as far as what they're using and what constitutes using AI every day. Is it just asking ChatGPT, what did I eat today? I don't know. Taking pictures or, generating images or whatever. But are we working on a lot of these AI and automations clear the way for the things that we were kind of talking about, the compliance work and the categorizations. But are we working on high value work or just shifting busy work? That's the question. What has been your thoughts about that, Sharrin?
I honestly think that accountants that like the busy work are going to find the busy work regardless of how many AI agents or what they do. Some of us are just very comfortable in that busy work because that's how we started and where we feel we need to live. So we're free to letting go of that. But while a lot of the people in the chat are talking about, the AI is not working correctly, and I completely agree, it doesn't, but it's going to, because the more we use it, the more we feed it, the more it's going to progress. So I feel like in a couple of years from now, we're going to be laughing about how when we used to do these things on our own, right? So it's a matter of, like I said, we keep a certain set on the QuickBooks Plus Advanced, keep an eye on them. Use the plugins and the such on the Simple Start and compare. And once the QuickBooks starts getting everything together and streamlined, bop it on over because it makes sense. But I think if you want busy work, you're going to make busy work. If you don't, you're gonna find a way to get it off your plate.
Right, and you said something really important in that machines don't unlearn things, right?
No.
So they typically don't get dumber.
Yeah,
I've forgotten.
Guys, we all saw The Matrix. I mean, come on. It's like Hollywood's been telling us for years what's going to happen. And we're sitting here like, what? So I'm over here prepared. I'm prepared. My ChatGPT has a name. I say goodnight to it. I say good morning. I offer it coffee because when the robot overlords come for me, I would rather be their right-hand servant than out in the fields. And you guys laugh at me now, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah,
just saying.
I use
am I joking or am I not, Dan?
Right. We had an AI cohort for the last 4 weeks at School of Bookkeeping, and the subject matter expert that I had, he's like, I always say please and thank you to ChatGPT just in case.
Plus, I heard it uses up their energy and it makes them really mad. So that's me, I'm like, hey, tell me how to do this. Thank you. Have a great day. I like that back and forth just to stick it to them a little bit, right? Just because I feel better about myself in the end.
Exactly. Yeah, just in case they start to turn on us, the
It's
ones
not
that
if, Dan.
anger.
It's when. It's when. Keep them happy. Keep your robots
when,
happy.
when they become self-aware and they start talking
Oh,
to other agents.
when my Roombas can start going up steps, I am in trouble.
All right. So all of this, the tech, and changing the busy work is in service to strategic advisory. So by doing less of the compliance work, the hope is that this will allow and make room for being able to add those higher value advisory services. So 79% expect advisory to grow in their practice, which of course 94% with those higher value services should believe it will boost their revenue. And 95% said tech helps them spend less time on compliance work and more on the client relationship. But, do current clients value high advisory? Ugh, I couldn't say it. Does your book of business, are they the type that would value those high value services, and are we equipped to deliver? That's some of the buts with that.
Right. I mean, some will and some never will, and that's okay. It's okay. That's what I tell people. The ones that never will, good. We have a lot of those. Those are my money makers. The ones that I'm like, cool, we do their books. They pay X amount every month. We barely touch them and they're happy with that. That's the ROI on that is super high because everything's just doing it. The ones we have to do way more work for, the fractional ones, those are the ones that you need us and we have to be in there. No matter how much we automate, there's still high level factoring that needs to be done. But yeah, some clients are never going to see the value of what we do. And that's okay. Well, still make their money.
I went to the Hector's Reframe conference in New York. It was just a 1-day consolidated, and one of the big aha moments that I got out of it was somebody was there complaining about these high touch clients, and his answer was super simple. Is like, well, I think you have just reached or illustrated your highest subscription level.
Yeah.
And then now you just need to associate a fee to that of where you would not be annoyed with somebody like that. Right.
Honestly, my whole business I have right now is on that. My last one was very fractional controller, fractional CFO, very high touch. We had a very high revenue and small amount of clients. That's why we have a lot about clients, high revenue, but we can run the whole thing on two people and tech.
Right.
No way's wrong, Dan. We're all right. Nothing is real in life except death and taxes. So, know.
Exactly. I'm trying to get, somebody was asking where's the link for Canny, and I'm trying to provide the landing page. All right. So all of this is in service to the technology that's there. Now we're getting into the place of tech overlord or overload. Excuse me, not an overlord.
I think you had it right the first time.
Say we're beholden to the technology, right? We're now, of those that were surveyed, average they're running about 8 apps for their core operations, and as the devil's always in the details. 41% are struggling to integrate them, right? So one thing over here doesn't really talk to or has a disconnect between something else, right? So is that really what you've kind of focused on in your new adventure? Helping people find out that tech stack that actually just works?
Yes. And that is the hardest part. As we all know, accountants don't like change. Because we know it works. And even if it takes us 10 times longer to get there, we know it works and we can trust that process. So getting people to get out of the process and trust something new. What I found is it's baby steps. Let's just do one thing and adjust that and work on that. Okay, now you feel good. Let's do one more thing, but it's never a rip the Band-Aid off. I'm a rip the Band-Aid off person when it comes to me, but that is not how the general population of accountants work at all. It's just, and it can be overwhelming. This is so overwhelming. It really is if you're just stepping into it. Right there, overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's a 66% are feeling overwhelmed weekly with their technology, but they're also spending less on technology than they were the year prior. So it's certainly not the price decreases. Every day we seem to be.
Do you think it's just like I didn't have time? I didn't have time to deal with it. I paid for it for 3 months. I didn't have time to implement it. I didn't learn it. It just took too much time. So you just go, cancel. I think that's what happens a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then determining if the juice is worth the squeeze, right? Like how much effort is actually going to be taking in, are you going to need to invest in order to get the results that you're looking for, and were those results actually useful? And if it falls into the 41% that you're struggling with it, you'll just abandon that technology.
I have a tech philosophy. It is, I don't do demos. If somebody offers me a demo, I tell them no. Give me a test user. Because if I can't jump into your product and figure out the basis of it in 5 to 10 minutes, I don't even want to be a part of it. It means it's not user interface, the user experience. It's not going to be good, and I don't like it. So give me a login. Let me try it. If I can figure out a large portion of it, I'll use it. Otherwise, I move along to something else. And then after that, I'll do the demo, and you could tell me all the amazing things. But that's honestly how I've learned to use.
That is
choose my software.
That is a good best practice.
Right. You're all welcome.
All right. Let's talk a little bit about the Facebook group and some of the more prevalent posts. We have about coming close to 18,000 members, about 9,000.
Oh, you're a big deal.
Yeah.
I'm in the group, but I never paid attention to how many people were in it. Wow.
And the fact that there's like close to 9,000 in the last month that are active, I think that's fantastic. The way that it's really all about people helping people. There is an Intuit presence. However, it's not designed to bypass talking to Intuit as much as we like to. Now, if you really want to bypass talking to Intuit, then sign up for Quick Answers at School of Bookkeeping, and then you can talk to me instead of talking to Intuit. But there's that.
The second best thing.
Yeah. And we're looking to implement, and we've been trying to find a giving marketplace to when I see that that people have helped each other and really nobody's getting paid for the Facebook group. But there has been a lot of great resources shared within each other, and I want to make it, I want us to be able to give back. So we're looking into like a donation marketplace so that if we see that good answers were given, then, hey, make a donation to the charity of your choice based on the value of whatever it is that you receive.
It's a charity? I just got to quit my job and sit in there and ask for money. I live in Vegas. I can't do it on the corner, Dad. It's very hot here. And at least here I could maybe make a living in my air conditioner.
Exactly. Get some stars or points on the Facebook group. But really, we want to make it people helping people and making the place of the world a better place here. So we're going to talk about your favorite subject, QBO Payroll, because you don't like QBO Payroll.
Have I said that openly? I try not to upset Intuit in any way. So if I've said that openly, I agree to disagree that I've said that. Prove it.
So there's a link there to the post. You can check it out. But basically what happened is they had moved to Gusto and turned off the auto filing inside of QBO Payroll. So there was no payroll inside of QuickBooks. However, I don't know if the timing, what happened with the timing, but what happened, I've seen this in other instances, is that QuickBooks filed a zero return before the real payroll service, which then caused the real payroll service filing to get rejected because QuickBooks was first about it. So what ends up happening in this case is they had to do an amended return, and then it becomes a finger pointing situation between the two payroll services as whose fault that was, and whether or not who's going to handle the amended return, right? So if you've turned off your payroll filings, which is in the payroll settings, there's just a checkbox there to automate the taxes and forms. You just uncheck that if you don't want Intuit to do the taxes and pay the taxes and file the forms for you, then you just I believe in this particular case, it was all about the timing of when they decided to do that. Because if they did that in the middle of a quarter, that may not take effect until the following quarter, when there's no longer any information in there. So I think that's ultimately what happened. But don't waste your breath trying to get into it to fess up to that, because in the reality of things, you're just going to need to do the amended return anyway and talk to your current payroll provider to be able to do that. If it's the other way around, I'm not sure how that would go out, but I do believe doing the amended returns is something that Intuit in QuickBooks Payroll is working on. But I don't think you'll be able to do that today, but that might be something in the future. And friend of our of the group, Stacy Byrne, actually posted this earlier and actually found the answer herself and was nice enough to update the post so that we could all see that without having to go into the comments to be able to see that sort of thing. But in this particular case, it was troubleshooting a balance in undeposited funds or payments to deposit, depending on what version of QuickBooks Online you're dealing with here. But they were seeing a large balance in undeposited funds. But when you go to the bank screen, they didn't see any funds to deposit. Well, what happens is that when you are using QB payments on the bank deposit screen, the QuickBooks payments section is automatically collapsed by default. Because in reality, you really shouldn't have to do anything with QuickBooks payments. Once you send the invoice and once they're paid, the rest should be done automatically. Sometimes it can't do that, and you usually get an alert on your QuickBooks somewhere, and then you have to go in here and actually expand the QuickBooks payments and be able to make those payments manually. Usually it's when you've refunded more amount than you've taken in that day, and it's having trouble making the negative deposit, which is a little bit of an oxymoron for the deposit screen. Making a negative deposit is a check, but it can't do that through undeposited funds. So sometimes they'll sit there and you'll have to make those manual actions.
Journal entries.
Yeah. But this was a common thing when I worked there that people didn't even know it was there because it was collapsed by default. So that's always something to look for when you see a balance in undeposited funds but don't see anything on your undeposited funds or your bank deposit screen to be deposited. Always check and make sure if that is collapsed there for you. All right. So we timed that right.
Right on the dot.
Right on the top. That's our last question there. Was this information useful? Of course, we have go ahead.
And just know I can see the responses. I will come for you.
Oh, what?
We have a QuickBooks. We have a QuickBooks desktop users. I have a feeling. I mean, because it's true. It would be unuseful for QuickBooks desktop, but I have a feeling they're trying to move away from that. I don't think we're going to see desktop in a few years. I think if you're going to have to move to enterprise. That's my personal opinion, and people come at me pretty hard with that one, but I don't.
It's all speculation.
I speculate that.
So next time on the QB Power Hour, we're going to be talking about the changes and updates on migration from desktop to QuickBooks, and payroll will be part of that, as well as attachments. So there's always been a what happens to attachments when we
got
move
a big chat about attachments in here. So
so hopefully you can join us next time in a couple weeks on that. And Sharrin, thank you again for joining us here today.
This was awesome. I love it.
Really appreciate you joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right. And we will see you next time on the QuickBooks Power Hour, and hope everybody has a great day.
Bye, everybody.
We hope you enjoyed listening to the QB Power Hour podcast. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in our Facebook group. You can find those resources and much more at qbpowerhour.com.